Freya H Finnerty.
Yeah,
That's
I know.
what it says on your LinkedIn.
I know, don't forget the H.
Yeah. Welcome to the studio. Welcome to the podcast. I know you were here yesterday, but welcome to the city of Liverpool as well.
Thanks, Jack, for inviting me. I had a fab day yesterday, and it was so nice. We went for a run at like stupid o'clock. I think it was like 6 a.m. and I actually got to see some of Liverpool. So
I think that was his aim.
Yeah, it was good.
Fair play to him for organising that. That wasn't for me. I do like running, but Matt Spruce, and he won't mind me saying this, he's like a Labrador who needs a ball throwing.
Yeah.
So I think that was him throwing a ball for himself yesterday morning to get rid of a lot of nervous energy.
Yeah, and you were there holding the ship, like set up.
But back to you, this is what it's about. You are a change and delivery consultant, curiosity curator, coach and mentor, currently on maternity leave, ex-BP, Sky, Sainsbury's, Warner Bros, Games, and Ubisoft. You're a highly collaborative agile coach / Scrum master with 15 years experience working with technology teams through a variety of sectors or in a variety of sectors. You're a classically trained actor and has toured the world performing Shakespeare, and you teach dance fitness in your spare time, and you're a STEM mentor to students.
Yes.
Does that sound like you?
Yeah.
I hope so, because I've got your LinkedIn in front of me.
What it says on the tin, It's funny when you hear it read back, especially I think with it, I don't know about you, but I suppose trying to define what we do as, as a change consultant or an agile coach or delivery lead, because I think, especially now at the moment, it's, I think titles have sort of really changed and interpreted in many ways.
Yeah. I remember we were supposed to do this a while ago. Then you messaged me and said, do you know what? I'm about to give birth. I'm not far from giving birth. Yeah. And I was like, do you know what, Freya? Do the numbers the world of good if you came on and gave birth live on the pod. That would be a first.
That would be a first. Do you know what? Because I really wanted to do it, and then I was sort of talking to my parents about it. Obviously, as you do, and they were like, "Oh, I don't know if you should drive. I don't know if you should get the train." And then I was just like, I can't even move. So yeah, it probably wouldn't have been. I probably would have fallen asleep on this lovely couch. So,
but we're here now.
I'm here now. Yes.
Are you enjoying your leave?
I am. Yeah. Do you know what? It's so weird. Like he's obviously for me it was an IVF journey, so I've wanted him to be here for ages, and now he's here. It's so much fun. I'm really enjoying being mum.
It's a great name as well.
Oh, Fox.
You can say
Fox.
it.
Yeah, so Fox Finnerty. It's kind of not that I want him to be a rock star, but I'm just giving him that edge in case.
I mean, if he's not going to be can't be an agile coach. No,
not at all. Although he knows a lot about agile because he has been talking about it all the time. So because they're like, just read to your baby. So I read, the Scrum Guide, and lots of other great books.
So from going from classically trained actor,
yes,
to what you do now, I mean, what happened there?
Yeah, it's a bit of a jump, isn't it? It was really interesting because I think for me, when I was, I always wanted to do acting, but at the same time I was working in design, and I had like two passions. One of them was sort of design, and the other one was acting. So I kind of always had while I was sort of pursuing my acting career, going through drama school and I suppose different kind of sort of auditions and roles, I always had sort of a career that was moving towards tech. So I started off in advertising and marketing. Then I moved into sort of working in PR for video games. Yeah. And I suppose all of that became digital, marketing became digital. And then I suppose I moved into tech. And I guess, if you think about, being an actor, you're basically creating and you're working with people. And the role of a Scrum Master is essentially that you're working with people who are creating something and you're helping them get there. So for me, there's been loads and loads of parallels, and actually, it's actually been really useful. I use a lot of what I learn as an actor and in my training and, in ensembles, creating together. I actually use a lot of that in my coaching and working with people. So it is a very indirect, random route into technology, but I'm here.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Thriving. I mean, the bog standard question, what does agile mean to you?
Gosh, it's such an interesting question, isn't it? Because I think it's kind of changed now. For me, I think it's trial and error. It's the latest form of trial and error theory. It's a way to help teams and organisations and individuals to expect, prepare and respond to change. And, we know that's inevitable. And ultimately, that's what we're doing. It's a human way, a human-centered way of creating value, whether that's, software delivery or something physical. So it's a way of making sure that you've got the human in mind in discovery, through the developing, and then you're thinking of the customer at the end. So that's what I see it as.
I like that. One day, I'm too lazy at the moment. Because I ask that question quite often, I'm going to chop up everyone's answers. And there'll be a whole episode of just people answering what does Agile mean to you. But I like that one.
Oh.
What's your opinion on like the perception of Agile at the moment? And Agile is dead. Scrum Masters should be burnt at the stake. There's no value in them. Like, what do you read any of that? Do you just get on with the job? Like what?
Yeah, I mean, I see this a lot, and it is, we have to face the reality that jobs have been cut, and a lot of those roles that have been cut are Scrum Masters. But what I'm seeing is that if you look at I'm a consultant now, and I have the privilege that I get to go into lots of different organisations and help them with their problems. And they might not actively say, I'm looking for a Scrum Master, I'm looking for an Agile coach, but those problems and dysfunctions that they need help solving that are causing them real issues is actually where I can help, or where Agile can help, or a Scrum Master. So the problems are still there, they still exist. And so I'd say for organizations, really think around, do you actually want, help with those problems, and really try and find the right person to do that, because I know so many great people who could help with that. And I think if you're on the other end where you are a Scrum Master or an Agile coach, and you're finding it hard to find work, but maybe you're just focusing on the title, look at the roles. A lot of the time, if you look at these, delivery lead or, a change consultant, look at actually what the job's asking, and you'll be able to do most of those things on there, if not add more value. So I think it's around the work's still there. I think where maybe that we've got this kind of bad rep that's come around is that, budgets are tight. And, I think since COVID, we all went very remote. And I think we saw a lot of companies bring in Agile coaches because I thought, actually, how are we going to help our teams, because they're suddenly in this, we've got this extreme change. We need help with those people. But then maybe they were, overinflated, those teams. So we saw lots of cuts. But, ultimately, the problems are still there, and we're still there to help. So I think it's just trying to be confident in what you offer, being able to articulate what that value is. And I think that's the tough part for us, because I'm not building the product, I'm not owning the product's journey, but I'm in that team adding value. So you've got to be able to confidently articulate how you're adding value. And I'd say for any coach or Scrum Master going into an organization, have that conversation straight on, at the beginning, what does value look like to you, and how are we going to, articulate that together so that you can confidently say, as you're going through that journey with them, hey, here's the value I'm adding. Yeah.
It's like shifting to the market as well a bit, isn't it? It can't all be one way. We have to compromise. If the market's telling us, okay, we might, or one might put their stock into being a Scrum Master, which is fine. It's great. Love it. But if the market's telling you, what, organizations may need more of a delivery manager, that doesn't mean you have to give up what you enjoy and what you're interested in and what you're good at. But if the market's telling you something, you sort of have to react to it.
Yeah.
To a certain point, obviously everyone's got their limits and stuff. So when you go into organizations in the role that you're in now, wrong's the wrong word. Wrong's not the right word to use, but where do you see the challenges now with agility, considering it's been, it's been around for a bit now, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's some common themes that I see when I go into organizations. So usually when I go in, it's either that they've tried an agile transformation and it's maybe gone a bit wrong and they want some help to try and get it back on track, or they're completely starting from scratch. They've heard about Agile and they want to introduce it.
And what do you prefer? Do you prefer the fresh out the box sort of thing, or everything's burning and we need help?
I think personally, actually, and I didn't think this would be my answer, but actually I prefer going in once they've tried it and it's gone a bit wrong. Because I think maybe people realise actually it's not as simple as they maybe thought. You are going to have to put some budget behind it, and you are going to have to make some difficult decisions, which I think sometimes when I go in when it's new, I don't know, maybe there's this kind of fluffy, like it's going to come and solve all our problems. Hey, you've got a magic wand, let's go.
Susie's balloon arch yesterday.
Yeah. And also I think then, you've got something to work from. The teams have got a bit of an understanding around what felt good for them, what didn't, and I think it allows you to go in and get a bit more honesty. And I think, when you're going in, that's what you need. You need people to be telling you how they're feeling, what they're seeing, what they've experienced. So then you can try and work a plan with them rather than going in and go, right, hey, let's go everyone. Here's a magic plan.
So if you're going in your favoured option of everything's burning,
that sounds really dark. Yeah, it's burning.
What does the first 30 days look like broadly? Because people will be listening to this going, I'm in this situation or I'm about to enter this situation. What do you do? They could maybe take tips from.
I need time with the sponsors. I want to know who's sponsoring this. Especially in these, particularly large organisations, who is going to help champion this? So I want to get time with those people, and I want to understand, okay, why did you need to do this in the first place? What is the, what is the call to action? Like, what is it that you're really struggling, financially? If you've got to make some difficult decisions, you're going to have to make some cuts. Like, what has your storytelling been? And are your teams aware of that? Because that's another thing that I see, that they say, hey, we're going to go agile. They change everything, but they've not told anybody why. And that's very hard. If that could be a reason why it's not worked, because the teams haven't been able to be part of the journey in the right way, then that's a way that we could try and get things back on track, bring them in, get a story that, we can all be, singing from the same hymn sheet, and have that sponsorship. So I think those are some of the key things that I would do. And also just talk to the teams, try and see who's involved, what areas, rather than just having a little small slice of one team. Because, even if it's one team that you're working with, there's broader teams that surround them that impact that influence their work, or the delivery of their work, or, potentially how they're feeling. So trying to find out who everybody is.
Yeah.
But it's hard in that time, right?
Yeah, it takes an awful, and to build the trust as well. Especially when, I don't know, I'm not going to speak for you, but from my experience, you go in and they've already had this thing before, and the credibility and the trust is even lower than it would be if it was new, because they've had it before, they've been a bit burnt.
Yeah. But I don't know about you, Jack, but, what I would say, if you're an organisation and you're investing in Agile in some way, and you're bringing in external coaches to work with your team, it's in your best interest to introduce them in the right way.
Yeah,
because, we're not cheap, right? We cost money, but also, we've got a lot of value to add. So if you introduce us in the right way to the right people, then, they are going to trust us a bit earlier on, and it's going to help that transition. Whereas if you drop us in and they think, oh, this person's going to come and, reorg us, and then I'm going to lose my job. That is a reality. I've spoken to people, and that's what they think sometimes when they, which is not what we're there to do, but that's the perception, right?
Yes.
Can be.
And sometimes that is part of the job in terms of, I think people like us in our position or our job have to be careful of our influence.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you're asked to give an honest feedback, and that feedback can sometimes mean, I find this quite challenging in terms of, you are talking about people's roles and whether they're going to get you or the organisation to where they want to be, because they've brought us in for a reason, and that is to hopefully, get to a better position.
It's difficult because, like you say, it is roles, but sometimes the crux of it is because people ask what is Agile, and a lot of it of the Agile, when we talk about Agile, it is around the behaviours, the behaviours that you have that enable you to, maybe shift how you're working, and those behaviors shift a whole organization. So if you have particular characters in your team that are blocking this change, and they've got such a big influence that is, drip feeding into your teams, then that's a serious problem, and as leaders, you're going to have that conversation. And I'm in those conversations sometimes, but that's what we're there to do, right? We're there to just say, this is what I'm seeing. This is potentially the risk that you're having.
Hard though, isn't it? When you're talking about,
it's people, it's horrible. But I think all that you can do is do it in a human-centered way. And I think that that's what I always try and do is, treat them as, as people, not just the role and the title.
Yeah, no, that's true. Obviously, you've got an array of experience outside of Agile. So, you alluded to it before that you bring a lot of that experience. So you can either expand on that, or what other things help outside of the Agile bubble that help you in, with teams, with individuals?
Yeah, I think, for me, obviously, working in tech, it is, obviously it's technical, right? It is software, but also we're fundamentally working with people. So I think anything that I've, the background that I've had in theatre is, ways to get people to work better together, but also create together. So a lot of things that I bring from performing improvisation or storytelling, things like that actually can help teams create something together. Because, sometimes I see that, we've got loads of really great individuals which have brilliant ideas, but they're part of a team and they've got to be able to create together. And that's actually a real skill. So anything like that's helping teams create and storytell together. And I think also I spent a lot of times working in CX and UX. And I think, how can we help teams get closer to the customer, understand the importance of the customer? And again, that's another big gap I see, that I'm working with teams who you say, who are your customers? And they literally don't know. Or the organisation doesn't allow them to spend time with the customers. So trying to find ways to influence teams with the customer, I suppose.
I'm literally on your LinkedIn now.
Are you?
And it looks like you've got a side coaching as well. Is that something I want people to come as in,
I do.
I
started doing that around confidence coaching. So and I was sort of mentoring women who were maybe doing a shift in career, wanted some help with confidence, whether they were maybe doing a presentation or they've got a new job and they want to show up and feel more confident. Because I think that's a big thing. A lot of women feel like they're being judged if they're not a particular way or have a certain I suppose persona. So that's kind of how that started. But I do a lot of other kind of coaching around. I suppose it's kind of grown into as people have progressed through their careers, kind of a career coaching in a way, and also STEM. So I sort of mentor young women who are wanting a career in tech and helping them on their journeys, really.
I don't know if this is a fair question. What can blokes do to help with that in terms of, you mentioned career confidence and not being perceived as a certain way? You can tell it's an important conversation, but I'm trying to get the words correct. Which is a problem in itself, because I should just be able to. So what can us shit blokes do to help not be shit blokes?
No, and thanks for being honest about that, Jack. I mean, I think it's just helping lift and raise women up. If you've got a woman in your team who you can see is maybe not feeling as confident, find ways to include them in the conversation, find ways to help create a platform for them to share their work, or just show the great stuff that they're doing, or even offer just to have a chat with them, and I think also it's just, again, sometimes the perception, a man who's seen as confident, great, but, if a woman's confident, is that seen as arrogant? So I think sometimes it's just these perceptions that we might have had. I don't know where they stem from, but actually, try and see the whole person. And actually, I think for most organisations, it's so beneficial to have, a rich team full of different characters and, diversity. And, if you are a hiring manager, think, look at your team. Am I just hiring people that I want to go and play, football with at the weekend or have a beer with, or am I thinking about the customers I'm trying to serve, and actually have I got a balanced team here? I remember I was working for a retailer, and I mean, most of the time, you know, our teams were really balanced. But, you know, the whole point was, you know, our core customers, most of them were women who would be doing the shopping, right? So we needed to have women developers, right? Because they can relate. They're probably the ones doing the shopping. But sometimes it's not so kind of black and white, but you should have a diverse team. And I think the best teams that I've worked with have been, you know, and, you know, they really spark off each other. They challenge each other. And so I think anything anyone can do to try and shift things so that you've got a real mix of people at the table, do it, because you're in a real privileged position.
Yeah, absolutely. What's next? What's on short to medium plans?
Well, I'm still on maternity leave, and I said to myself when I was on maternity leave that I'm going to use this time.
I'm going to say it doesn't look like it.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to use this time to travel as much as possible. So me and Fox have been on lots of sort of holidays. So we've got a few more lined up. I've been doing some work with Women in CX, which is a wonderful group that I suppose help mentor women working in customer experience. And I'm going to Miami with them to help them with their conference.
Amazing.
Yeah, so that'll be cool. I'm doing a bit of some breath work. Going to be doing some Zumba, but also some workshops around exploring AI and things like that. So that would be exciting. So I'm going to enjoy some more time with Fox. But then I think for any woman that's on maternity leave, like it's a difficult position to be in, because if you enjoy your work, you naturally you start feeling a bit anxious and paranoid. Like, am I missing out? You know, I want to make sure that when I go back to work that I'm ready and that I'm kind of easing myself in. So I'm trying to stay doing a bit of things so it's not such a big shock when I go back, and still try and enjoy time with Fox. So it's but it's been a magical few months. I've really enjoyed my time.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Where can people reach out, say hello? If they want to get in contact with a coaching call.
Are we allowed to wave at the camera?
Yeah, do what you want. Plug away.
Well, come and find me on LinkedIn. I'm usually on there chatting about something, and you're very welcome to take a look at my page, watch it, take it what you will. But that's usually where I've got most of the content that I try and share. I was doing videos, but since having Fox, I used to do my videos really early in the morning.
No, they were good then.
But now I find like if I've not had any sleep, I'm like, no one wants to see that face. So I'm kind of just maybe finding a nice image and then sharing some thought pieces. But I will go back to doing some videos soon.
You should do. They used to go down well from what I remember.
Yeah.
Right. Good background, good aesthetic.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on.
Oh, Jack, it's been lovely to finally come on here and chat to you.
Yeah. It's been brilliant. People will get a lot of value from that. Thanks for coming yesterday. And thanks for making the effort to come on this.
Oh, and you'll have to come back down south and
I can be persuaded, I'm sure. If you liked this video, there will be another one just above my finger there with another interesting person. YouTube knows you better than you know yourself, so I'll recommend a video that you might like. But thank you very much indeed.
Thanks, Jack.